invite you to rendezvous with me, Diane Epstein, inside each of these fresco images, to immerse yourself in the visual story, the layered love notes, illuminating Italy. See the layers beneath the surface? May they re-enchant your world and your creations. Monte Vista. This view was taken from our 17th century palazzo, where we spent a good part of our 20-year sojourn in Italy, in Monte, the oldest neighborhood of ancient Rome. With my wide lens, I would wake up at the brilliance of dawn, and at twilight watch the moon rise to capture the seasons, always a myriad of changing perspectives and moods. This collage of Italian scenes, feel this potent, positive, creative tide carry you into a new story. Let the waves of colors and shapes soothe you, awaken your senses. Feel the breeze of the age-old angels. Let the playfulness and sound of the turtle fountain refresh you. Touch the texture of the crumbling walls, the ancient ruins. They source the past, present, and future all at once and are whispering to you, what do you hear? When we illuminate that which we yearn for, that which we notice, we bring our attention to it, like sun rays beaming down on something beautiful, like here in the Pantheon, with its own streak of architectural brilliance. This ancient olive tree, over 2,500 years old, reminds us many things do last, especially when rooted, grounded, and growing. Italy endures. While photographing these images, I perceive this sweet reverence and age of beauty overlay the crumbling walls, the ancient trees, and the centuries-old structures that still possess an undiminished poise and strength of character. That's how I see this current time of reflection, a time we can really get rooted. We can move with grace, we can stretch beyond our comfort zone, we can reach for the light, as in these dancing trees from Sicily. A time to feel our roots, leap beyond our boundaries, clear a new pathway, and energize our attitude and life purpose. Holding the spirit, these contemplative Venetian hands together form a heart, reaching out with patience and presence. Just as golden dust emanates from her hands, we can be the golden hands and hearts of the world and find ourselves inside this deep source of creativity and connectivity. Into the heart. In this feminine archetype stands a figure in her soft, layered cloth. We don't see her face, knowing sometimes we need to take a break, get out of our heads, and just be fully attuned to all our senses. Time stands still, and time reinvents. Inside a room in an old farmhouse in Puglia, the young woman is letting the light and presence suffuse her body and soul. The clock with no hands prominently reminds us that we can find time to be still. Light beams in Santa Maria sopra Minerva, romantic explorations of light and shadow, architecture, sculpture, as well as nature, allow us to peer through the veil of the apparent, illuminate the beauty in decay, and embrace the richness of the world within and around us. Angel and dreamer. I dreamt that I was the dreamer, hair covered in grime, crawling towards my destiny, the night before I came across this in a hidden cloister, soon after I awoke the next morning. As we take pause without time constraints, we can allow our imaginations to soar, touch our higher power, and let it guide us towards our deep-seated dreams. A face to hold. I was lost on a foggy Venice exploration in the midst of these softer, more subdued tones, letting the tranquility and transparency of the face of this woman love what it loves. Is she inviting you into the tenderness of her ancient wisdom? Is she whispering, "Tell me about love, tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine"? A light on St. Peter's Basilica, a place of worship where pilgrims have congregated from far and wide. Is it time to rethink how we create spaciousness, to mourn our losses, confess our shortcomings, be compassionate, and feel spiritually connected? Forum at dawn. In the next few fresco photographs, I have captured different perspectives of the Roman Forum, a marketplace in ancient times, around the corner from where we lived in Monti. I'm reminded of my wanderings with a camera in hand as the spirits of ancient times would whisper in the softness of the waking hour. Re-emergence. The great Jean Houston once said, "The destiny of the world is determined less by the battles that are lost and won than by the images and stories it loves and believes in." In these scenes of the Forum and Colosseum, images of translucent, colorful forms, light beams, and symbolic stars are embedded in the fresco photographs to invite love, peace, and joy to re-emerge. Clearing at sunrise. Re-envision for this next phase, golden diamonds and millions of dewdrops are superimposed in these series of images, illuminating and clearing this place and its dark history. As you immerse yourself in each of the images, in time they play out in such a way, sooner or later they connect to heal and clear the ruins from your story. Caput Mundi. It is as though life were a treasure hunt seeking to understand what is underneath all the layers of time, to contemplate what endures and what doesn't. I feel the poignancy of this place, as if the stones and ruins were revealing a message, compelling us not to just follow like those who did during the Roman Empire, but to act as conscious individuals and participate in a collective enterprise of compassion, connection, communication, and creation. Forum at sunset. So rather than stick our heads in the ruins, we can acknowledge our true feelings, peel away the layers and patterns that no longer serve us, and reinvent our lives with greater awareness of the potentiality and beauty that lies beneath the surface and ruins of our lives. Salute in Venice. Echoing the architectural response to a prior assault of the plague, this church was dedicated to Our Lady of Health after a devastating outbreak of the plague in 1630 in Venice. There is something about these unprecedented times now that makes me ponder, what can history teach us? How can we each hold a curative perspective? Venice fog. How can we focus more fully on healing and preserving that which is calling out for our attention? And I wonder, how will we preserve this magical place that is Venice? This was taken on the Janiculum near the American Academy after one of my first exhibitions there. The kaleidoscope of colors represent the myriad of moods, perspectives, and different points of view. Even in our own minds, we may switch from one moment to the next, depending on where we stand or if we turn. The diamond patterns suggest transformation through the complex field of repeating form. The Trevi Fountain. This fountain dates back to ancient Roman times, since the construction of the Aqua Virgo aqueduct in 19 BC that provided water to the Roman baths and the fountains of central Rome. It is said that the Virgin Waters is named in honor of a young Roman girl who led thirsty soldiers to the source of the spring to drink. Romulus and Remus and the she-wolf. The ancient story reveals a new story that is emerging, the imaginal, the great coded potencies that are there in this Italian scene. Held magically in ourselves, the imaginal will tend to give you what you need. Let your story come alive through these images. May they advance your capacities and inspire you to do wondrous things. What all my art has in common is a reverence for the spirit and soul of nature and culture, and a desire to inspire wonder, aliveness, and a sense of interconnectedness. I have been told it's possible to listen to my images as well as view them. They have stories to whisper, dreams to evoke. If you allow these images to take effect, they can play upon your mind like an orchestra, activating different sounds, colors, textures, memories, emotions, connections, ideas. They may illuminate parts of you that you didn't even know you had. If you peel away the layers, acknowledge your own ancient walls, you will be ripe to build a fresh, new story. My heart lingers, observing, remembering the layers of time and depth, like a palette of paint, mixing one layer after another. Together, the textures, colors come alive, like a layered love note, reliving, listening,